I've steered clear of this topic for some time because it's quite upsetting for many. But now it seems that the alternative news is rolling out the narrative. I'm seeing great stories by brave victims who are often hyper-focused on religious beliefs, perhaps to shift far away from the dark lives they lived, but they are making some inaccurate assumptions in their zeal for justice. This is very understandable, but I think it's important to examine the problem with a mind free of any indoctrination. Most recently, I've seen a lot of celebrities, models, and Playboy playmates coming out, discussing their abuse and what they have been exposed to in various celebrity events, parties, and vacations. Everybody knows about Epstein. He was the carrot that was dangled in front of us to begin to open our eyes. Actually, Harvey Weinstein was the first public exposure of the Hollywood environment, but it really didn't have the same impact as Epstein. Why? Because Weinstein abused adult starlets. The casting couch has been a well-established tradition in Hollywood, and the average person might think that the woman knew what they were getting into. But then Epstein came along and exposed minor teens that were coerced into human trafficking. At the time, we couldn't get many people that were willing to testify against him or come out of the woodwork. Then the Diddy event happened, and we were introduced to the notion of surreptitiously drugging participants. Actor Christian Bale, on stage at the Golden Globes Awards, thanked Satan for the inspiration. Lady Gaga famously swore to Lucifer on Jimmy Kimmel, which was quickly glossed over. How many people do you know that thank Satan? I've never met anyone in person. Then there's the Rolling Stones song, Sympathy for the Devil. I could list many that go way back to the 60s and continue today. Satan doesn't rest. Many celebrities have hinted to the open secret in Hollywood, but openly denied it. This section of the video is going to be a bit graphic, so if that bothers you, then I recommend that you skip past it. Most people probably don't realize that there is an initiation into elite circles. Nobody just walks up and becomes part of the inner circle of celebrity. You go through some kind of initiation in some way. So let's look at what this initiation was like for some people because it's different for everyone. The first type of initiation is through some type of humiliation ritual, such as John Cena appearing nude on stage at the Oscars. He didn't think up that one himself. He was being initiated. Comedian Cat Williams has talked about how one of the most common humiliation rituals in Hollywood is forcing men, especially straight black men, to dress up in women's dresses. That seems pretty innocuous, right? How many movie roles have we seen with men dressing up as women? Tootsie, Mr. Mom, White Chicks, the list goes on and on. According to insiders, these are initiations. Sounds very sophomoric and harmless, doesn't it? Listen to what else goes on. Tom Segura, a stand-up comic, actor, and author, was on a podcast with podcaster Duncan last year and said that he didn't have to do the deed with a guy, but he had to let a guy perform oral on him to get his first special. I did a little research and I didn't realize it, but Tom Segura is one of the most popular working comedians today, regularly selling out large theaters and arenas. His first special was with Comedy Central in 2011. He had only 2 agents prior to 2021. He had been with Creative Artists Agency, one of the big 3 talent agencies prior to 2010. In 2010 through 2021, Segura was switched over to another one of the big 3 agencies, ICM, or International Creative Management. The Comedy Central special was aired in 2011, but filmed in 2010, so it appears that he was talking about ICM, which was bought by Creative Artists in 2021, when Segura switched to the third big 3, namely William Morris Endeavor, or WME. So this entertainer has been through all the big agencies and is working in the industry that he is part of. Segura went on to describe his initiation ceremony to get a commercial agent. He said that he was hung upside down naked over a fire pit in a red room overnight. In the morning, men came into the room and sensually groped him. He said that when he left the notorious red room, he had an agent and got a Sony commercial. Tom Segura's first appearance in a Sony commercial occurred in 2023, so that was after he left ICM and went with William Morris. So it wasn't one agency, it's what you do to get an agent with clout, in addition to paying them 10 to 20% of what they make. If people think that these kinds of deals are rare, then they simply don't want to know. The fact is that this type of depravity is the rule, not the exception for power and fame. We've heard it from so many. Then, comedian Duncan said that he had to drink lukewarm semen to get an agent to do a commercial, and he never even got a deal. Trussell is an actor, stand-up comic, and widely known for his appearances on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, as well as Showtime's La La Land, Comedy Central, both seasons of HBO's Funny or Die Presents, and many other roles. Both men are industry insiders and highly credible. The two men talked about how everybody knows about it because it's in plain sight. Trussell said, "I mean, they put all the symbols in the trailers." He said it's obvious, but guys, we weren't looking. The way this agenda has been fed to us is the epitome of distraction techniques in action. The two agreed that Los Angeles was referred to as the Kingdom of Lucifer in influential circles. Segura said that he just got offered a movie role and he has to go to LA for 72 hours and he thinks it's going to be a dialed-up red room. If you research red room, you get a lot of deflection and denial, but if you saw 50 Shades of Grey, you will remember that Christians' playroom for BDSM, bondage, discipline, sadism, and masochism was referred to as the red room. They always tell us in the movies. Segura has been in the industry since 2007 and started working the deals in 2010, so he knows he's going to have to do something to get this lead role in a movie. This is insiders saying this, guys, so they all know that something will be expected of them, and they don't know until they show up. Trussell then shared his experience with a show called Drunk History, which I've never heard of, but it ran for 6 seasons on Comedy Central. Trussell said that every time he did the show, he was woken up with a pit bull humping his face until it was done in his mouth, and after the first time, he went along with it. I mean, what kind of depraved person trained an animal to do such a thing? I apologize, and I wrestled with this information, but trust me, this is mild. Disclosure is going to be difficult for some to accept. The sad thing is that Trussell said that the second time he just knew what it was and apparently realized it was some weird initiation each time he did Drunk History. Then he goes on to defend the industry, saying that he wishes that people wouldn't be so hard on cultures that they don't understand. What horrified me next is that he continued, saying that people have different ways of connecting to source. I don't think that the average person would really catch the nuance of this. When we connect to our Creator, we call it God or Source. But when these people practice their depraved rituals in red rooms, they are connecting to their source. And when you go one step further, knowing that our connection to source allows us to manifest, is there any wonder why there has been such an assault on our innocence? Guys, if there was ever a time to embrace the good inside yourself, this is the time. The link to this interview is in the description, of course. These beautiful starlets and seemingly wonderful people that we idolize sell their dignity to lie to you. Once they are in the business, they know that anything can and will happen, yet they still show up, knowing they are going to have to do something insane. They just don't know how insane. There's been a lot of models and playmates coming out now exposing the industry. Audra Lynn, a Playboy playmate, has been on several podcasts and reports that Ghislaine Maxwell approached her numerous times about donating her eggs. While Audra didn't, She said that she was targeted for her bloodline and that there are different categories for the breeding program. Audra is not the only one to talk about the breeding program, but this is the first time it hit close to home with a verifiable offender like Maxwell. So that you understand, these breeding programs allegedly create babies for sacrificial rituals or other dark purposes. This also tells us that they have access to high-tech medical resources to conduct such procedures. International model Barbara Stoyanov has revealed parties with supermodels where they must be filmed from under a glass table doing a BM. Are you beginning to understand exactly how sick these people are? But we still haven't come close to the bottom of these demons, and personally, I don't think we have the capacity to conceive what they do. I'm not going to reveal too much more because it's just too dark, and this must be rolled out slow, giving you an opportunity to digest and further research. So now I'm going to give you one more morsel to think about. The average person thinks that cannibalism is done in some African village where people are starving, and they would be clueless. The very private, very avant-garde Cannibal Club restaurant is right in Los Angeles among the beautiful people. They specialize in exotic dishes made from human meat. They even have a FAQ page that describes the taste as closest to pork. And regarding the location of the restaurant, you must go through a membership process because they have to operate privately and vet their members in order to avoid disruption from the less enlightened. I'm not kidding, guys. There has been a lot of fact-checking saying it's a hoax because the alleged staff are not real people. This is true, but given the secret nature of the establishment, it only makes sense that they haven't put their real names. I've been watching this restaurant for many years, and if it's such a hoax, why is it still up and taking applications? A second thread that ties celebrities to these practices came from one of the Podesta emails about a spirit washing party thrown by performance artist Marina Abramovich. Long before AI, photos of Abramovich and Lady Gaga over a woman in a pool of blood as Gaga licks a bloody utensil. All of this is done in the name of artistic expression. There are more photos with elite dinners and people lying across the table prepared for serving. Alternative boards on this subject have said that some people actually volunteer their bodies to be eaten. I have seen the boards and offerings. This is how sick we have become. There was an interview of President Trump regarding whether he is running number 17. Which makes all these crazy allegations about pedos and cannibals. I linked the video in the description. Without point-blank answers, POTUS is definitely supportive of the initiative and appears to be skillful without denying that he's part of the 17 operation. See what you think in the description. Let's take a quick look at some celebrities who have made statements or actions that imply an allegiance to Satanism or Luciferianism. Marilyn Manson has openly embraced themes of Satanism in his music and public image. He has discussed his interest in the occult and has been associated with various controversial statements regarding religion. Lady Gaga frequently uses occult imagery in her performances and music videos. Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, has often been associated with satanic imagery, particularly during the height of his career with Black Sabbath. While he has made statements about his beliefs, he often emphasizes that his music is more about theatricality than actual allegiance to Satan, but we have to wonder how he escaped the deal. Katy Perry has made references to her past experiences with Christianity and has used occult imagery in her music. While she has not explicitly claimed allegiance to Satanism, her artistic choices have led to speculation about her beliefs, and her father called her possessed. Lil Nas X has been open about his provocative approach to religion, particularly with his Montero music video, which features themes of Satanism. While Ariana Grande has not explicitly identified as a Satanist, she has used occult symbols and themes in her music and performances, leading to discussions about her beliefs. Rihanna has incorporated occult imagery into her music videos and performances, and many believe her to be a high priestess. The stories of Hollywood initiations and the rituals of the elite paint a picture of a world that hides beneath the glitz and glamour, a shadowy realm where power, secrecy, and influence come at a heavy price. The recurring testimonies from actors, musicians, and insiders suggest that Hollywood's bright lights mask a much darker reality that could destroy Hollywood. As more voices emerge to challenge the silence, the veil over these hidden practices grows thinner, inviting the public to question how far the reach of the elite truly extends and how lucky we are to be living in these transformative times.